Scene script. Have you ever wondered how a simple pinch of salt could turn someone into an internet sensation? That's exactly what happened with Salt Bae, whose real name is Nusret Gökçe. Born into a modest family in Turkey, Gökçe started his career as a butcher, a humble beginning that would later shape his destiny. Gökçe's passion for his craft was evident from the start. He was more than just a butcher, he was an artist, transforming ordinary cuts of meat into masterpieces. However, it wasn't just his skill with a knife that caught people's attention. It was his unique and flamboyant style of seasoning meat that set him apart. With a flick of the wrist, he would sprinkle salt onto his culinary creations, letting it cascade down his forearm in a way that was both theatrical and mesmerizing. This signature move quickly became his calling card, earning him the nickname Salt Bae. Videos of his seasoning technique went viral, and before long, Salt Bae was a household name. His charisma, combined with his distinctive style, captivated millions around the globe. Gökçe's fame was not confined to the internet. His unique seasoning technique and the viral success of his videos led to opportunities beyond his wildest dreams. He opened a chain of steakhouses, attracting celebrities and foodies alike. His restaurants became a hotspot for those seeking a taste of Salt Bae's magic. But while his seasoning technique was undeniably entertaining, it was Gökçe's dedication to his craft that truly set him apart. He treated each piece of meat with reverence, crafting each dish with an attention to detail that was almost reverential. His passion for his work was infectious, inspiring a new generation of chefs and food enthusiasts. But as we'll see, rapid success can often lead to unexpected challenges. And while Salt Bae's rise to fame was meteoric, it was not without its pitfalls. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the rise and fall of Salt Bae's empire in our next scenes. With a sprinkle of salt, a star was born. From a simple butcher to a global sensation, the rise of Salt Bae was nothing short of phenomenal. As if overnight, this charismatic Turkish chef transformed from an unknown face to an internet celebrity. It was like a snowball effect. The more he gained recognition for his flamboyant salt sprinkling technique, the more his popularity skyrocketed. His rise to fame was not just confined to social media. Salt Bae, whose real name is Nusret Gökçe, started expanding his restaurant empire. From Istanbul to Miami, Dubai to New York, his Nusret steakhouses started popping up across the globe. Each new opening was met with fanfare, attracting a clientele as diverse as the locations themselves. These weren't just any customers either. Some of the biggest names in Hollywood, music, sports, and even royalty were seen frequenting his establishments. From Leonardo DiCaprio to David Beckham and even the Saudi royal family, Salt Bae's clientele was as glittering as the salt crystals he became famous for. His social media following grew exponentially too. On Instagram alone, he amassed over 20 million followers. Each new post of his seductive meat slicing and salt sprinkling garnered millions of views. His fame was such that his signature move was emulated, parodied, and even turned into memes, further amplifying his global reach. The Salt Bae phenomenon was a masterclass in viral marketing. His unique blend of showmanship, skill, and social media savvy was a recipe for success. His charisma was infectious, his style irresistible. He was more than a chef, he was a performer, captivating audiences with his theatrical displays of culinary prowess. Yet, amidst this meteoric rise, there were those who questioned the substance behind the style. Critics started questioning the quality of his food, the prices, and the working conditions of his staff. But these voices were drowned out by the deafening roar of Salt Bae's seemingly unstoppable ascent. In the blink of an eye, Salt Bae was everywhere. He had transformed himself from a humble butcher into a global culinary icon. But as we'll see, this rapid rise would soon be met with an equally swift downfall. But as the saying goes, all that glitters is not gold. The first signs of trouble in Salt Bae's empire began to surface, casting long, ominous shadows over its golden facade. Reports started to trickle in, whispering tales of underpaid staff laboring under harsh conditions. Employees were allegedly working long hours, often without breaks, and earning wages that barely met the minimum. The man who'd won the world over with his flamboyant dash of salt, it seemed, had little regard for the sweat and tears of his own workforce. But the cracks didn't stop there. Accusations began to mount, suggesting that Salt Bae was disrespecting the very art of cuisine that had propelled him to fame. Critics argued that his theatrical performances were nothing more than a distraction, a smoke and mirrors show that diverted attention away from the quality of his food. Was Salt Bae a culinary genius, or just a master of illusion? Meanwhile, the public watched with bated breath as the outrage swelled. The once charismatic chef, who had so effortlessly charmed his way into their hearts, was now at the center of a storm. The world had adored him for his unique style, his swagger, and his salt. But were they ready to forgive him for his alleged transgressions? As the controversy raged, the empire that Salt Bae had built began to wobble. His once bustling restaurant saw a decline in patrons, and his once adoring fans started to question their loyalty. The cracks were starting to show and the golden empire was starting to lose its shine. Yet through it all, Salt Bae remained defiant. Would he address these allegations? Would he make amends? Or would he continue to sprinkle salt on his empire's wounds? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, the cracks had begun to show, and they were growing wider by the day. The glittering empire was starting to lose its shine. The fall of Salt Bae was as dramatic as his rise. The descent started with a viral video that sent shockwaves through the internet. It featured Salt Bae in all his flamboyant glory, sprinkling 24-karat gold flakes onto a steak. This wasn't his usual salt sprinkle, this was an ostentatious display of extravagance that left many aghast. The video sparked outrage, with people questioning the need for such wastefulness, especially in a world where millions go to bed hungry every night. The backlash was immediate and severe. The internet that had once showered him with adoration was now filled with indignation. Protesters gathered outside his restaurants, their voices loud and clear, demanding change and accountability. They held signs that read, "Food not gold," and "Hunger over excess," their message resonating with the growing discontentment. The media coverage was relentless. News outlets, blogs, and social media platforms were awash with stories and opinion pieces about Salt Bae's fall from grace. The man who was once celebrated for his unique culinary style was now being criticized for his excesses and lack of regard for the world's pressing issues. Customer loyalty, once his stronghold, began to wane. Celebrities, influencers, and even royalty who had once flocked to his restaurants started distancing themselves. The allure of dining at Salt Bae's restaurants had faded, replaced by the bitter taste of his arrogance and disregard. The fall was swift and merciless. His restaurants, once bustling with customers eager for a taste of his famed dishes, started to empty. One by one, they began closing down. The once vibrant and lively spaces now echoing with the silence of his downfall. The once adored Salt Bae was now a symbol of excess and disregard. His empire, built with a sprinkle of salt, had crumbled under the weight of his own extravagance. His name, once synonymous with culinary innovation, was now associated with wastefulness and disrespect. The fall of Salt Bae served as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of internet fame and the consequences of unchecked excess. The aftermath of the fall was swift and brutal. Salt Bae's empire, once a beacon of luxury and indulgence, began to crumble. His restaurants, once bustling with high-profile patrons, started closing their doors one after another. The golden steak, once a symbol of culinary opulence, now served as a stark reminder of Salt Bae's downfall. The media played a significant role in this rapid descent. News outlets and social media platforms became the stage for public outcry and criticism. They latched on to the scandal, amplifying the voices of the disgruntled and the disillusioned. The name Salt Bae, once associated with a unique culinary flair, was now synonymous with excess and disregard for the very art he claimed to love. The public reaction was equally harsh. The same people who once flocked to his restaurants now turned their backs on him. The viral videos that once brought him fame were replaced with footage of protests outside his establishments. The internet, once his ally, became the platform for his public trial. It was a stark reminder of how quickly the tide can turn in the age of digital media. His loyal customers felt betrayed. The extravagant prices they once willingly paid were now seen as a mockery of their trust. It was not just about the golden steak anymore, it was about the principles of respect, fairness, and accountability, principles that seemed to be missing from Salt Bae's glittering empire. The aftermath was not just the closure of his restaurants or the tarnishing of his name. It was the disillusionment of his followers, the loss of trust, and the shattering of an image carefully crafted over years. It was a stark reminder of the power of public opinion and the responsibility that comes with fame. The empire had crumbled, and Salt Bae was left to pick up the pieces. But the pieces were not just of his fallen empire. They were pieces of a broken trust, a tarnished reputation, and a legacy that could have been. The aftermath was a bitter reminder of the fleeting nature of success and the lasting impact of one's actions. The rise and fall of Salt Bae is a cautionary tale for all. The story of Salt Bae is much more than a tale of seasoning and steaks. It's a parable about the intoxicating allure of fame and fortune, and the perilous path one might tread when blinded by success. The first lesson to be learned from Salt Bae's story is the importance of humility. As his popularity skyrocketed, so did his ego. His flamboyant display of wealth and disregard for the concerns of his critics only served to alienate those who once admired him. It's crucial to remember, no matter how high we rise, humility keeps us grounded. Secondly, Salt Bae's tale underscores the importance of respecting one's craft. Cooking is an art, a labor of love, and a way to connect with others. It's more than just a means to accumulate wealth or garner social media likes. By turning his art into a spectacle, Salt Bae not only disrespected his craft, but also the culinary world at large. Thirdly, the treatment of employees cannot be overlooked. Reports of underpaid staff and labor violations painted a grim picture behind the glitz and glamour of Salt Bae's empire. A successful venture is built on the back of its employees and their hard work. It's essential to treat them with respect, pay them fairly, and provide a supportive work environment. Furthermore, Salt Bae's story teaches us about accountability. When faced with backlash, instead of addressing the concerns raised, he dismissed them with arrogance. In the face of criticism, it's crucial to listen, learn, and adapt rather than ignore and dismiss. Lastly, the importance of sustainable success. Salt Bae's fall was as swift as his rise, a stark reminder that success built on shaky foundations is not sustainable. True success is built over time, through hard work, dedication, and a genuine respect for one's craft, and those who help us along the way. In the end, Salt Bae is a reminder that success is more than just a sprinkle of salt. It's a mix of humility, respect, accountability, and sustainable practices that make the perfect recipe for lasting success. In conclusion, the story of Salt Bae is one of meteoric rise and dramatic fall. From his humble beginnings, Salt Bae became an internet sensation, captivating the world with his unique salt sprinkling technique. His fame grew, attracting a star-studded clientele to his extravagant restaurants. But beneath the glitz and glamour, his empire was built on shaky ground. Accusations of labor violations and underpaying staff began to emerge, and his lavish lifestyle started to draw criticism. The turning point came when a viral video of his extravagant golden steak sparked outrage. The backlash was swift and his empire began to crumble. His disregard for the criticism further alienated his customers, and his restaurants began to close down. The media's coverage of the scandal ensured his name became synonymous with excess and arrogance. The tale of Salt Bae serves as a reminder of how quickly success can turn to downfall if not handled responsibly. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe for more intriguing stories like this. Until next time, keep your salt sprinkling in check.